Welcome to the Super Bowl preview edition of the Daily Deuce. I'm Gary Graves from just outside cold, snowy Louisville, Kentucky, and in Maryland, my damn good longtime friend John Webster and his smart son Dante. How are you two doing?
Hey Gary, I'm doing real good, man. Another great week in sports. A lot of
One,
things
I meant
going
to
on.
say one of your two smart sons. I'm sorry, I forgot to
Hey,
say that. You got because you
we
got two that you
we
know
understand. We understand.
of.
Another great week in sports. It's still too doggone cold around here. I need it. It's like 25 degrees. I need it up to 99 or 100 so I can put a jacket on. That way I'll feel better about the entire situation. It's just
Mhm.
really, really, really cold, man. It's really cold. But man, we got a guest here helping us out tonight, man. The one and only Dante Webster. Dante, how you doing, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm surprised you're not in love with how cold it is. This type of weather, but you want to go outside and do your Christmas decorations. You call me on the weekend, Dante, let's do Christmas decorations. Dad, it's 15 degrees. I guess we'll figure this out as we go. The 40 degree weekend was right beforehand. But, hey, that's how it goes sometimes. But, as far as the
Well, wait a
40,
minute. Hold up, Dante. Hold up. He asked you to come over and put up Christmas decorations.
not this week, but yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, no. I'm just saying when he did.
Oh, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
outside.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's what we do.
I
Outside.
didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't know the nursing home allowed that.
Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That said, you
Yeah.
you you are just about probably one of only two or three houses that do anything, so he does have a point. But I like you have a very festive home. I like it. You really go in there for the holidays.
I,
And
I'm in the nursing home you're trying to move to, Gary. How about that?
Yeah, yeah, you are right about that. You are right about that. I mean, look, look, this how we gonna be as neighbors one day back in Maryland.
Well,
you got to get out of
we're
Louisville first.
yeah, well, we're waiting for him, Dante. The door and the gates to Cameron Grove are open for him to come. So you just got to come on over here, man. We're waiting on you, Gary. We're waiting,
But
and
you
then
gonna do
you
all
can
that good,
come outside with us and help us put up Christmas decorations.
but then you won't get
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
good.
yeah. We could walk our dogs together. I don't know. It's like I guess King and Zeus might, see who can pee the farthest. I don't know. Dogs
Well,
like that pissing contest probably just like humans.
Wow.
on that note, we've had a
Whoops,
real
did I
interesting
say
week in
that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
We've
sorry.
had a real interesting week in sports. We're going to
Hmm.
start off by talking about the Super Bowl. Will it be super? Guys, what do you think, man? You got the Patriots in here against the Seahawks. Um, Seahawks have had a really good season, just like the New England Patriots have. Seattle beat the LA Rams to get here. Patriots beat the Denver Broncos to get here, and what I think was one of the most beautiful outdoor games I have seen. Snow and everything. It was just absolutely beautiful. But what do you guys think, man? What's going to happen, man? Does Sam Darnold finish the job? Does Drake May make sure his shoulder stays in place? And does he get the job done? Can New England's defense stop Seattle and their strong passing game with Smith and Jigba? Talk to me, guys. What's going to happen?
What number is this Super Bowl? Is it like 60?
60.
60.
60.
60.
Okay, thank you. I was about to say they always
Yep.
put up the
Oh,
Roman numerals, and I'm so confused.
yep. A number I'm way too familiar with.
Nothing wrong with being 60. 60 is a lovely number, man. It's a nice round number. I like that number. I'm not there yet, but I'm just I'm not being ageist. I respect all people. But yeah. Did you want to give your thoughts on the game first, Gary? Or do you want me to go?
No, no, yeah, no. I want to hear you, man, because I want to make sure I get all my laughs out before I say something.
Oh yeah,
Because
no.
I know you gonna crack me up. I,
I mean, I got my thoughts on the game. I mean, honestly, the way this reads, it should be pretty straightforward. In all honesty, this literally seems, and this is why it's not going to go the way it should. This reads like Seattle should honestly beat them. Like Seattle should really, in the world, this should be Seattle should bludgeon them just because that Seattle defense is like on a legendary pace. Like apparently, it's even better than the Legion of Boom, which is like really hard to believe. They just don't have a name. They try to give them some name in Seattle. I can't remember it right now. But yeah, I think Seattle literally They should be favored. I think that they will win. I do think that it'll be a close game. I mean, I don't think weather should be too much of a factor here since you're playing up in San Francisco. So don't think that should factor into it too much. I think everything will be fine as far as that goes. But I really think that Seattle's got this is their time. The way that it just looks, it's one of those things where you just feel like this is the team of destiny. Where okay, you got the perfect storm. You got that defense that has looked amazing all year, and they haven't slowed down in the playoffs. Even against the Rams, they got stops when they needed to. On offense, you got Sam Darnold throwing the ball, and Sam Darnold did not turn into a pumpkin this year. Sam Darnold managed to keep it going, and Sam Darnold even avenged his loss last year to the Rams. If there was any game where you thought, oh crap, he's going to turn back into Sam Darnold, it was against the Rams. No, Sam Darnold went out there and had one of his best games against the Rams, tossing the ball. He did great. Kenneth Walker has looked really good. It's honestly it's hard for me to think of how the Patriots will win this because the Patriots have squeaked out wins. They've won ugly, which a good team can win ugly. So I'm not going to take that away from them. But that offense has not looked good this entire playoffs. Nothing has looked easy for them. Drake May has had a couple big runs, a couple big throws, but the moments have been few and far between. And I know they've had stiff competition. They played Coach Khaki. I'm sorry, Dad. They just didn't have enough. They got there, and your guys' team was just falling apart at that point. They played. Who else they played after that? After that, they got the Texans. That was an ugly game. Defensive battle. They did enough though. They managed to do enough, and not Stroud, excuse me. Stroud didn't do enough, but Drake May managed to do enough. Got them over the hump. That was good. And in one of the ugliest games I've ever seen, if you want to talk about a beautiful game in snow, last year's game with the Eagles and the Rams was played in snow, and the quarterbacks looked like, oh my God, they knew how to actually throw the ball. The game that I watched 2 weeks ago was not a good snow game. That was a horrible snow game. I know you just like the weather, but I just want you to know that was a horrible snow game. They couldn't even throw the nobody could move the ball. But anyway, they won that one. It was very ugly. They have won ugly this entire playoff. So the biggest thing is, with that defense, there is a chance that they can drag Seattle down and they can play an ugly game. And if they play another ugly one, they got a shot but Seattle's also won ugly. Seattle won against San Francisco last game of the year, won ugly. So this is just, I just think Seattle. I think Seattle is destined to win this, but I know New England's not going to make this easy. New England. I mean, now that said, Tom Brady's not coming out that tunnel. This is Drake May, who has a bad shoulder and he was sick too. Like we're undercutting this. He's got a lot of things going on, but I just literally I can't count them out. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like Seattle has to win this. In my opinion, it seems like this has to be their year. For the Patriots, it's hard to say a team will ever get back again. Dan Marino never got back again, so you can never guarantee that. But it feels like this is kind of like a year too early for them, where it's like, all right, you guys beat up some bad teams, won against the good teams when they needed to. So I'm not taking that away, but I just feel like it's Seattle's year.
Yeah. Dante, I agree with nearly everything you said. I mean, you really, really put it well. The thing about Sam Darnold in Seattle, Sam Darnold has proven that you can overcome playing for the New York Jets and about three or four other teams. And I'm still trying to figure out if you're Minnesota, you let a guy who won 14 games for you the year before walk to another conference team and he goes out and wins 14 games and gets them in the Super Bowl. Which is to say, I've always been a Sam Darnold believer because I kept thinking, my gosh, the New York Jets got him. My God, Sam Darnold is just like, it's like his career is going to be over within 5 years. You know, it hasn't been fortunately for him. He's again, he's overcome that. Yeah, it's taken 5 teams, but much like Minnesota, he found a system that fits his skills, and I see a combination where he has fit his skills for the offense, and the offense is fit for him. Um, I mean, he's got a great set of receivers. He's got guys that believe in him. He's got a complementary run game. It doesn't have to be great, but he's got a complementary run game, so he doesn't have to do everything. The problem is they're facing a New England team that, as Dante said, they've won ugly, and I think that that's going to be their calling card in this postseason. If they can muck it up, if they can just, like I said, just keep throwing roadblocks in the way, that'll give them field position. They hope to give field position, shorten it for Drake May and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the AFC Championship game, as much as I loved watching it in the snow for like the last quarter and a half, that okay, yeah, it's going to be better weather, but Drake May, he's got to overcome that last game. Whether he's banged up or sick, he's got to overcome that last game because that is a defense that's going to be in his grill early and often. And yes, he can run the ball. That adds another dimension to it. But do you really want your quarterback, as big as he is with an arm like that, do you really want him running the ball as well? If anything, I think, he's got to really try to shorten up his game, maybe try to stretch the field a little bit if he gets comfortable, if his guys get open, and see what happens from there. But to your point, Dante, I think it a lot of it has to do with Seattle. They've looked good, and your father and I, we've discussed this. We were both picking the Rams in that game because we thought the Rams were surging, that they had the better offense, and really their special teams cost them a spot in the Super Bowl. But having said that, their offense was good enough to make it a game. Seattle's offense just knows how to take advantage of opportunities and score. They know how to move the ball, period. And Sam Darnold, again, I've been a believer in him. I even had my students read a story about him when he was at USC. It was after he won that bowl game over Penn State, and it was just like he's a guy who is maybe not the most exciting guy. He doesn't come across as a quarterback. He's just quietly confident. And the thing I was reading that story that he's a guy who's very athletic, who just knows how to study the field, study his opponents, and understand the situation. In this case with Seattle, he's in the right situation. He knows it. He's confident, and you're seeing the best of Sam Darnold. And I do think it favors the Seahawks. They should win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think because again, New England's defense and Mike Vrabel, I mean, you know about his background as a player with New England. You know that he can get it done, and I think a lot of that team reflects Mike Vrabel as a coach. He couldn't show it in Tennessee, and I repeat, he couldn't show it in Tennessee, but he's in the right situation, and you're talking about a 1 year turnaround that could get them a record seventh Super Bowl.
Mm. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, go ahead, Dante. What you going to say?
Oh no, I said yeah, I agree with Gary too. Is this? I think it's going to be a really. I think it'll be. I think we're in for a really good game. That I will say. It's going to be a little bit of a defensive battle, but I think we're in for a really good game. And I mean, hey, if you're going to run Drake May into the ground, you might as well pick the last game of the year to let him do his best Josh Allen impersonation.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only prediction that I might make on this game that I think will hold is that I don't think the winner scores 30 points. I really don't think the winner scores 30 points just because of defense. And I, I I think I think New England is good enough to create opportunities that could make it a close game. But I'd be very surprised if the winner scored more than 30 points because again, it teams they play tight a little bit and they feel fortunate to get the points that they can get in the Super Bowl and really just try to add to it. I guess they spend a good part of the game trying to really sort things out, not talking about last year because I think we were surprised by what we saw last year with the Eagles, and I think the Eagles had a point to prove, but this is a team with two good defenses. And I think that both of them will make an impact and really in limiting the opposition and trying to keep them out of the end zone. You might see a lot of field goals in this game too. That part wouldn't surprise me.
These are definitely two take the points teams. I can definitely see that one too, and I can agree with the whole won't go over 30 thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I think if you see 4th and 1 and they're within field goal range, they're not gonna, it's as cute as it might be to try to go for a first down. In a game like this, take the points. Take the points, take the points.
I think both of y'all made some really strong points on this. I'll start with the last thing you said about the 30. I'll go out on the limb. I don't think combined the two teams will score 30 together in the game on Sunday.
I got
Ooh,
the score being 24, so I don't know about that.
yeah. John,
I'll
I don't
I
know.
know I'm by myself. I know I'm by myself. I'll go out on a limb on it,
Uh,
and
you're taking the under, man. Ooh,
I
okay.
don't think I don't think they'll score 30 combined. Um, the other thing I'll say, both very strong defenses. Seattle has one of the best run defenses in the NFL, I think, and New England has one of the best run offenses in the NFL. I think New England needs to run that ball about 30 to 35 times. If they're passing
Mhm.
35, 40 times, that means they're way behind, and that's a problem. I think they need to run it, slam that thing up in there about 30, 35 times. Give that ball to Stevenson, give that ball to, what's the other guy's name? Henderson. Let them do their thing back
Get that
there
ball to
and get.
Stevenson, he may lose it.
Well, he's been holding on to it most of the time, Dante. He does have a fumble problem, but he seems like it's being cured. Hopefully, it doesn't reacquaint itself this Sunday.
It's
Um,
like a game break could happen. First,
huh?
it's definitely like one of them games. First play of the game, he get about 7 yards, then he decide he don't want to go down and just loses one.
Yeah. Then, well, first play, you get it out your system. Don't do it anymore. You know.
Mike
Um,
Vrabel, well, Mike Vrabel loves him, so apparently he'd get another crack at it. Travion Henderson did
yeah.
the first play of the game. He wouldn't play again.
Well, you got to know your players. You got to know who's going to do what. You got to know who's going to be a little offbeat at the beginning of a game, and you got to work your way through it with those players. And Vrabel will. I think also with Seattle, they have a strong passing game with Smith and Jigba. I'm always trying to say his name right.
But
Um,
you got it, man. You got it.
yeah, so I think you're going to see a lot of matchups on Sunday with Smith and Jigba going against Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback from New England. I think you're going to see a lot of that because that's New England's best cornerback, in my opinion. And you got to put somebody on Smith and Jigba because he is tough. He is unbelievably tough. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll give you another statistic as well to think about, guys. Sam Darnold has never beaten the New England Patriots,
Mm.
either as a Minnesota Viking, a New York Jet, USC Trojan, whoever else he's played for. He has never beat the New England Patriots. So we'll see how that plays out on Sunday. I think it's going to be a hard hitting game. I think it's going to be a defensive game. Um, Drake May will throw some passes, but he can't just be going back there, dropping back, and think he's going to throw. I think the best defensive front four, and this is taking nothing away from Seattle. I think the best defensive front four that he's seen this year, he's already seen, and that was the Texans.
Mm.
I don't think there's any front four. And again, Seattle's is great. There's nothing I take away from, but you ain't going to see something like the Texans for the rest of the season. Those guys, I'm watching on TV. I'm scared of them because they're so big. But I think they can manage them with the front line that the Patriots have. I think they can control the situation, but running the ball is very important. 30 to 35 times they got to be slamming it up there. Seattle kept the opponents to like 3.7 yards a carry this year. You're not going to get a lot of yardage on your runs, but you got to keep on going for it, keep on running it, keep on running it, keep on running it. Gary, you brought up a very interesting point from an analytics standpoint. I'm not about those fourth and ones. As I said to you last week, I want to get the points. I'm not chasing points.
Mhm.
So if I got a 4th and 1 at the 30-yard line, I'm kicking a 47-yard field goal. Unless that guy completely stinks, then I got a problem. But he's got to make a 47-yarder. Then we see what's going to happen, man. I think special teams is going to play a key role in this game. Seattle has a strong special teams. Their special teams can not only flip a field, but it can flip a game. We saw it when they played the Rams. Rams had complete control of that game. There was a Thursday night game. They were up by 16 points. Seattle got a punt return back for a touchdown. It was never the same for the rest of the night. You got to control their special teams. You got to control it as much as you can. Can't let them have big plays on the special teams because they can really turn a game around. With that being said, you guys know I'm going with the Patriots. You know, it's going to be a tough game. What you say, Dante? Of course.
Of course, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and look, he's happy to be able to say that about the Patriots, so you know that was going to be predictable.
Yeah, I was about to say. I know he's more than happy to go with the Patriots. He's literally going to outline the case for why Seattle should win the game, and then say, "But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Mike Vrabel and the Patriots. It's not Bill Belichick back there. I like Mike Vrabel though. Just saying.
Mike Vrabel has beaten Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Another reason why you guys in UNC.
And
Yeah.
they're getting ready to win a national championship just for you, Dante.
What sport? Basketball?
Football.
Okay.
What sport they gonna play? Okay, go ahead. Oh, sure, man. Go ahead, enjoy.
Just to make you feel good, it's going to be North Carolina against Maryland.
I was about to say if they win
National
the national, if they win the Natty, then Maryland got a shot. Then if UNC got a shot.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. John. I'm a Maryland grad, and I'm like, what? What?
I'm sitting here like, I don't think that's gonna happen for us. You know, but hey, go ahead, man. You know, whatever. Yeah, that sounds great. But yeah, I'll take 20. I'm gonna say 24-20. Seahawks.
Well, you know, I'm no good at picking scores. You guys can pick the score. Only
Yeah.
thing I'll say is I don't expect total of over 30 points.
So do you think
Yeah.
so? Just go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Seahawks 27-21. Yeah, like I said, I don't think anybody scores 30 points in this game unless it becomes a turnover battle. Unless you know one player on the field that really scares me for New England is Stephon Diggs. Speaking of Maryland.
Mhm.
He's a guy that I feel like you never really know what you're going to get from him. And what is that? Maybe a better term is feast or famine. I still think, obviously, he's a serviceable receiver,
Yeah.
but he's one of those guys that if he can break free, I'm scared of what he can do because we've seen him do it in a playoff game. We saw him do it, in Minnesota, what he could do in a playoff game.
This is what I'll go ahead, Gary.
I was just gonna say, but he's a guy that I don't know. It's like you don't know what you're gonna get from game to game. Is he gonna pout? Is he gonna step up? Is he gonna make the tough plays? Is he gonna make the easy plays look tough? Is he gonna make the tough plays look easy? That's that's always going to be a question. And he's a guy that I think Drake May really needs to have a big day if New England's gonna win.
I think Stephon Diggs had a really good season this year. I know what some of your concerns are. Those traits I have not seen this season. I think his hands have always been good. I think he's very sure-handed. And he's continued to do that this year. I think he needs to catch 4 or 5. He's what I would call a possession type receiver. And if he can get 4 or 5 catches in the possession, then it's going to open the field up for Bouye.
It's booty.
Booty.
It's booty.
Booty. It's going to open the field up for the booty. So you get the thing going, and you just open the field up so he can get down the sideline, and then you go from there.
Fair enough.
I don't think that came out the way you wanted to, John, but that's okay.
I was gonna keep going. I was just gonna brush on past that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I also love how you put some English. You put some real English on that man's name, Bouye. Like you made him like from the French Quarter. Like it's really just Booty. That's his name. It's okay. Some people got names like that. I'll say when you watch USC, was he John David Bouye or Booty?
His name is spelled Boutte.
Yeah, I would have thought it was about.
Then it would have been BOUT.
Look, knowing me and trying to be all phonetically correct, in journalism, I say, yeah, his name is probably Butte.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're not wrong.
I was close.
But and no jokes. It's just like it's one of those things. It's like, if I had to do something like this and say, yeah, well, what's his name? Say, yeah, it's Butte. And if you see it, it's gonna look like booty, but it is Butte.
You gonna let him correct you? You gonna make it fancy the first time, and then you be like, no, 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 this is boo. He's like, oh, okay, thank you, okay, appreciate
Hmm.
it. Yeah, I get you.
You know, kind of like what
Uh,
is it? Thiesman becoming Theismann, right?
Well, we did that just so he could win the Heisman, which he still lost. But he was robbed. Notre Dame always should win the Heisman, but that's another story for another day. We don't have to go on that right now.
You are so right about that.
Mm.
Shout out to Jeremiah Love,
So,
good
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
huh?
So what's up next?
as we as we go into our next segment, I think we is everybody clear on the on New England? I've got New England. Dante's got Seattle. Gary, you got Seattle, right?
Yes.
Okay, then we're
Yep.
good to go.
Hmm.
The world is really rocking right now. NBA trade deadline is this Thursday, and we've had some bombshells already hit. You guys, the Jazz and Memphis did a trade today. Jaren Jackson's going to the Jazz. I think that's it for him because ever since they got told Dante earlier today, ever since they got rid of Donovan Mitchell, they have not been anything. Jack Lundell and John Conchar and Vince Williams are going to the Jazz, and Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang are going to Memphis.
How do you get George Niang's name right, but you got Jock Landale's name right? You called him Jack Londale. That was funny. You just called him. That's what I mean. The hardest name it was George Niang. You got that one perfectly right. You butchered a couple of them, but you got that one. You get good job, man. It's always just funny thinking about which ones you're gonna get right. All right, yeah. My bad. Sorry, but go ahead. Continue.
Gary, you see what I got put up with, Gary?
Oh man, well, hey, look, man, wait a minute. He is cut from the same cloth. Wait a minute. This is what you begot, man. So,
I was saying, I'm just trying to get people's names right. I didn't even do anything wrong. I didn't. I'm just
yeah,
respect. You got
In his name, Jack Londale.
no. Jock Londale. It's Jock Londale. Literally.
Oh, it's not Jack, it's Jock.
it's
Yeah,
Jacques. Jacques.
you see how you put English on Butte? You should have put some English on Landale, Londale, because it's Landale. You just called it Landale or whatever you said. It's Londale, Jacques Londale. You said Jack Landale. It's Jock Londale.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
He's a throw in the trade, so it kind of doesn't matter. But just making sure I just explain his name to you. I don't know. Uh,
Well, I'm gonna start this off by saying, really, there's only one trade that I think anybody's really paying attention to before the deadline, and that's whether Giannis goes somewhere, whether some team's gonna blow up their future and trade for Giannis, giving up a bunch of draft picks or something, maybe have a couple players tossed in. I I really don't see this one being any kind of substantial, you know, like earth-shattering trade deadline this year because I think any move that Giannis makes will probably come out after the season, and that's when that'll be the blockbuster because I if you're Milwaukee, I think what you still have a chance at a playoff spot. At this point in the season, now we're in February. You're only talking really about 2 more months of the season. You've got your chemistry.
mhm.
How do you blow it up, even for a guy of Giannis's stature? And I heard a discussion about some of the other names being out there, like yeah, I guess James Harden has requested a trade. And yeah, now he's the kind of guy I do think that could be a complementary player that can help a team. But I don't know if you trade for a superstar at this point in the season and expect it to really do anything. Because I mean, even like say with Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors, was that at the trade
That
deadline
was the
last year?
deadline last year. Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
trade deadline. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that was one of those rare ones where yeah, he was a complimentary player, but yeah, again, he's not a franchise guy. I think at this point in his career, he's a guy, well, at that point in his career since he's injured, that he was a guy that he said, "Look, I'm happy to be playing with Draymond and Steph, and this is what I can bring." And you saw what he could do. But I just don't see any team right now even like I've heard some about Carl Anthony Towns being traded. That would look for the New York Knicks, of course, that would be a Knicksian thing for them to do if they traded Karl Anthony Towns. But why? But why? Because I really
What?
do think that the Knicks are a team that could win the East. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I do think Mike Brown he's getting something out of him. Now, of course, here's the thing about the Knicks. They should have stuck with who brung them last year because I still don't know why they fired oh God,
Thibodeau.
yeah,
Yeah.
Thibodeau. Yeah, Tibbs. I still don't understand that, but I mean, what happened. I think looking at the Knicks now, that they have the right coach for that combination of players that he has. That there is still something he can get out of them, and they're all at points in their career where they're ready to take that next step. And I see the Knicks as a very, very dangerous team. By postseason. And if they don't have to, well, I'm trying to think of who could really stand in their way. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Celtics, maybe not. Uh,
Well, I'll say this, Gary. And the Celtics just made a move today too. They got Nikolai Vucevic. How's that, Dante? Nikolai Vucevic.
Close
is
enough.
They
it
picked him
Vucevic or
up.
Vucevic?
I was gonna give.
Vic,
I was gonna.
Vic,
I was gonna give.
Vic.
I was gonna close enough, Gary. It was close enough. You see,
It's
he
V
can't.
U
Okay.
C E V I C. That's Vic.
It's
That's
Vic,
Vic.
but I said you were close
If it
enough.
was
Gary,
Vitch,
Gary called you out
if
on it.
it
I
was
was gonna say
Vitch,
you
it
were
would
close
have
enough.
been VICH. It's Vic.
Well, you tell
But
that to you.
anyway,
Well, I
That's
mean, it's like, but from
the
those East
Eastern
Bloc
European. Yeah,
nations,
that's what I'm
man,
about to say.
there's a dialect, there's a little thing you got to put on. Like, it's we don't call him Luka Doncic, we call him Luka Doncic, right?
Yeah,
Right?
he is right about that one. Yeah, he got you there. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I just call him Luca.
You know
But
what? Good. That's pretty good too. I'll give you that one.
yeah,
but
yeah.
look, this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say about the Knicks. And I know Gary, you'll disagree. And this is why I'm glad that I watch basketball and I don't have to coach it. Um, you mentioned Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns is an aircraft carrier.
Oh Lord.
An aircraft carrier should be in the paint. I know that's not the way basketball is played now, and I get it. But I watched him the other night. They beat the Lakers, but it wasn't because of him. He got 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes. Mitchell Robinson plays a brand of basketball I'm used to. Jason Hart plays a brand of basketball I'm used to. There's
Josh.
another big man on that team, Dante. I can't think of his name right now. Can't think of his name.
Yabusele? No, Yabusele probably wasn't playing.
But I guess you're 7'2" and you're shooting 3-point shots. Pat Ewing played a brand of basketball I'm used to. Marcus Camby, I'm naming Nick Greats, who went down in the paint and did work. And like I said, I know that old guy on the grass, Gary. I know that I want you to get off my lawn. But doggone, can you go in the paint and do something? And every time you go for a shot, you're thinking you're fouled. You're 7'3". You're going to get fouled. Keep playing.
I mean,
So
Yeah. Well, the thing about big man, and this is more about a team that's not trading for anything, but it has a big man. They have the wispiest big man in the league, and he's not afraid to go in and get hurt. And and he plays in OKC. And
okay.
that's the kind of thing, yes, he can shoot a three, but he's not afraid to go in. That's the kind of guy, John. Yeah, I agree with you that you need to go in go in the paint.
and
Yeah,
you got
that type of player.
you got to have a trade off for some of these guys. Like
Yeah.
if it was me, I would say to Cat because he's a really nice guy, and that's another problem I got because big guys that smile just
I mean enough for you. Fair enough.
yeah. So my thing is, I'll make a deal with you. You can shoot the first three of the game, every game. After that, then you got to go in the paint. You got to go in, and you got to run the floor. I've seen him not run the floor. I've seen him fall, complain about a foul, and not get back up. Run the floor. Help.
Now
You know,
the trade off is he's a tremendous shooter. You need him to shoot. The shooting's important. This is
he
what
is not a tremendous shooter, Dante.
I mean.
He,
He's
Well,
he's
again,
kind of joking when
feast or famine.
he's
Feast or
joking when he
famine.
say he's the best. He's not joking. He thinks it. He's not the best big man shooter of all time, but he is a really good shooter. I wish he played defense. I'll give you that. But every guy ain't gonna have like a post game these days. So I mean, if you could shoot the three and it's efficient, I can't knock that. I do wish he played defense. That I'll agree with you. That is the one area where I'd say, if you traded Giannis for, you'd have to throw in some stuff. You trade Giannis for Cat, yeah, New York would love him because Giannis is going to go down in that paint, play dirty, and Giannis only knows how to play one speed, and that is really, really fast. So for the short amount of time that he's going to be out there, because it's all going to be based on athleticism, so you only got about 3-4 years of it left. So within that time, it's going to be great. Knicks fans would love him. He would do great at the Garden. But I mean, it's the hard part where it's like with Cat, yeah, he'll never find a home that really appreciates him because the things that he's good at aren't things that most, traditional
I
basketball
think
want to see.
I think he fit in best for his skill set. And let me be clear. I'm not saying he doesn't have a skill set for the NBA. The way the NBA plays, he is a part of it. But I think that his skill set was best served in Minnesota, and Minnesota traded him. Because you had Gobert. Gobert was your rim protector. He was your aircraft carrier. He was stopping everything.
You can carry, cover up his efficiencies. Yep.
Yeah, and you had the freedom that you could have Cat go and shoot all these threes. And what's the other guy? Muhammad Nazir. What was that guy
Well, I can't think
on
of
Minnesota?
I know exactly who. Yeah, Nazi Muhammad. I think no, it's not Nazi Muhammad. That's a whole different person. It is
No,
not
not Nazir Muhammad.
Nas Reed.
Whole different decade too.
Nas Reed. My bad, man. Nas Reed.
Nas Reed. And you see what I'm saying? When you had Nas Reed, he can do his thing. You have Gobert protecting the rim. It gave you freedom for Cat to do what he does.
Yeah.
And I just think with the Knicks, maybe they'll make a trade or something. We'll see. You mentioned the Celtics, Gary. I mentioned the Celtics with getting Vucevic, whatever it is.
They need a big man depth, so that was a good trade for them.
That's a good trade for them because right now they've been using Kuyeta and Luca Garza, who is a DC product, played at Wilson High School, and he played at Iowa. But that's not enough. If you bring in Vucevic, he can help you down low. Jaylen Brown is having a great season. I think that's great. Peyton Pritchard is playing great as a point guard, and they got a good bench as well. One of the other trades we saw, Pistons. They traded Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley to the Bulls. Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric went to the Pistons.
Yep.
And the Pistons get a 2026 first round protected pick from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works. Now, Gary, you also mentioned about Giannis. We're going to find out what's going to happen in a couple of days. Golden State really is trying to make this happen now because when it comes to summer, from what I'm reading, Golden State's best offer and their best chance of getting Giannis is now. It's not this summer because other teams will be able to put together a better package to offer. Some of them can't put anything together right now. They can't put enough together.
Similar to what Gary said earlier, though. I mean, you got to think about this from think about the Carmelo Anthony trade. Like the Knicks were on a roll before they traded for Carmelo. That was a great team that they had around Amar'e Stoudemire. They cleared the deck for Carmelo. You never really got to the height that you. Well, I mean, I think the next year they did all right, but that season it was kind of a lost season. That mid-season trade, like you said, it's hard to do because you have to give up so much to bring him in. You have no depth left at that point. You can't do much. And especially,
I agree with you and Gary, but I'll also add this too. When you make these trades in mid-season, you need to think what you're doing. As great of a player as Carmelo Anthony is, he didn't play the same style as Amar'e Stoudemire. The ball came to Melo and it stops. It stops. And he just holds it. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying you have to have a certain kind of team to be able to play with him because it's not getting up and down the court. It's hitting him in his little soft spots wherever he wants it on those elbows, and he's working it that way. And that's not how they were playing with Stoudemire before Melo got there. They were getting up and down that court on a regular basis. I got two other people that I'm interested to see what's going to happen with them. One of them you're going to say I'm out of my mind. The first one I'll say is Ja Morant. I'm interested to see where Ja Morant's going to go. I said to Dante earlier today, I think he needs to go to a situation that has a disciplined environment. I think Miami, as crazy as the life is in Miami after the games, I think Miami would be a perfect place for him with the way they run things with Spoelstra and
They
Pat
should.
Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I think that would be a good environment for him, putting him somewhere like that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. If you can get him there, biggest thing is I mean the trade value ain't what it used to be for him, but just getting him somewhere like that, I think that would be good for him. Honestly, I mean, back when they were saying Minnesota they wanted him at one point, I didn't think that was a bad area for him either. I mean, maybe, but I
Mhm.
think my
Him and Anthony Edwards in the backcourt, I think that would be an explosive backcourt. But the problem,
well,
I
I mean,
won't say a problem. The problem's not a fair statement. The challenge that the two of them would have is they are both dominant ball handlers. That would be the challenge to see how Edwards would have to be working more off the ball because Morant's running the point. So that would be interesting. So we'll see where he ends up, man. We'll
Yeah.
see.
It-
I think a lot of his value has gone down, not because I think he's had some injuries, but I think the talking has also hurt him. What they're saying about him, and that can hurt anybody. Sometimes it's not fair, but that's how life is. I think the kid can still play. When he was coming out of college, I told Dante this. I don't know if you remember me telling you, Dante. I said it was him and Zion Williamson. Now I said I would take him before Zion, and I still would. And that's no knock on Zion Williamson. I just think Ja Morant is he was, and I think he can become again a once in a lifetime type of player. I think he is that good if he's in the right situation.
they have the same issue. They're both here for a good time, not a long time. Games both predicated on athleticism. It's hard. Now, Ja can pass, but Ja's a small point guard that can't shoot. And athleticism, it's like Russell Westbrook aged kind of ugly just because the athleticism is different. He's not built like a tank like Russell Westbrook either. So that's why I
Yeah.
say both of those dudes, you here for a good time, not a long time. Zion is another set of circumstances, but both of them here for a good time, not a long time. Athleticism drove them. So it helps
Yeah.
a
I
lot.
Yeah.
think I think with Zion Williamson, I'm sorry, Gary, go ahead. I cut you off, man. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, with Ja, it's not so much the body, it's the head. It's what goes on upstairs. And if you're the Miami Heat, if you trade for a guy like that, first of all, who do you give up for him? Because you're gonna have to give up a couple of decent picks.
I would take Tyler
And I'm
Hero.
and me being a believer in chemistry, that how does he work in that backcourt? Where you've got, let's see, well, Tyler Hero, who I like, who has been a much better NBA player than I could have imagined when he was at Kentucky. Yes, he was fierce, but that era, those last few Calipari teams, that he had a whole bunch of tweeners in the backcourt that I
Mhm.
would say these guys, yeah, it's great for college, but how does it translate to the pros? Well, the rest is history. Tyler Hero is a fierce guy. Much like Reed Shepard has become a fierce guy with Houston, but it's about chemistry. And Tyler, Bam Adebayo, those guys, they know to play together. Um, who defers to who? Who passes to who? Who takes the last shot? That's the whole thing. I know what you're saying about the influence of Pat Riley and Spo, and I think that's the kind of thing that he could benefit from. But if you're Pat Riley, do you make that trade at this point? Maybe upset the chemistry of the team, and give up a couple of draft picks in the meantime. With Golden State, and again, their whole thing is, well, when you make a trade like this at the deadline, you have to believe that guy is going to get you over the hump, that he's going to be that complementary player. The kind of trade that Detroit made, they're on top of the Eastern Conference. I think they want to just kind of shore things up. But do you want, do you make that kind of trade for a guy that, yeah, he could put butts in the seats or something, but is he going to take you to the title? That's the question that they have to ask themselves. If you're the Miami Heat, a guy like Ja probably could get you maybe from the seventh seed up to possibly a fourth or fifth seed. And of course anything can happen there, but at what cost?
True statement. Very true statement. Last one I'll say before we go to our closing segment. I wouldn't be surprised if Zion Williamson ends up moving away from the Pelicans. I don't know where, but I think that may, something they could think about. I also think he may need a change of scenery as well. Um, he's had some injuries and rough circumstances with the Pelicans. And I think the kid can play, but I think also his game, and I said this when he was at Duke, his game is very violent. It's very aggressive. And because of the way he plays, it causes injuries to him. It even happened when he's back at Duke. He blew his tennis shoe out. You remember that, Dante? He blew his tennis shoe out in the game.
Yeah.
Um, so I think he can play. I just think he may need to be in a different environment to play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's also like hard to try to build around him and what's my man's name? Queen. Queen is good, and he's shown a lot of flashes young, but Queen, neither one of them really stretches the floor. So it's kind of like you're gonna run into some spacing issues. And Queen does a lot of things really phenomenally, great passer, but he works best on the inside too. And you just don't have enough space on the floor when Zion's just trying to get to the rim at will too. So it's a little bit difficult. I definitely agree that if they could work out a trade, it would be good. At one point, I heard maybe the Wizards, but Wizards probably like having like five decent young players. Well, not five. I don't know how many. Wizards have a bunch of kids, so I mean, maybe they in love with that. If I were them, I actually would consider it. I mean, why not? You don't get top
I,
you don't get top tier talent in DC all the time. It's kind of like with Trey Young, where it's like you don't get a lot of shots out of Trey Young. Has his warts as a player for sure, but it's still top tier talent. You don't get a lot of that here off free agency, so you have to take your chance when you can get it.
I still don't think Trey Young's going to play a game here in DC. I think he'll
They're
he'll.
marketing him so that he may end up doing it. The biggest thing is he ain't. I think maybe well he's been hurt a lot. You have to rehab that value even if you're gonna move him. So he has to if he has to play something. I think
And
that
didn't he ask to be traded to Washington?
I think that was his
Yeah,
one of his
yeah,
best.
but Gary, you got him there.
Well, I
What
mean,
do you do with him?
you play him.
Well,
You play point
yeah,
guard.
yeah, you play him, and well, yeah, and I mean, again, he's still young. He's still at a point where he's serviceable. I think you can build a team around him. And I mean, remember the year that Westbrook spent with the Wizards? They got to the playoffs, and you saw how not only did he play with Bradley Beal, but that offense. I mean, he couldn't play defense worth a lick. But that offense, those guys, he lifted their games. I think a guy like Trey Young, he gets healthy. If you can get him on the court, I think you can get a team around him and maybe remind people that Washington has an NBA team,
Yeah,
even if it's a Midland NBA team.
that's the big
Because
thing.
because I'm telling you, at the beginning of the season, I'm like, if the NBA could contract. They could have contracted the Wizards. And look, that's still on the table in my view. There's a lot of teams, and I think New Orleans is another one of them that if it's like, yeah, if you wanted to, kind of add by subtraction, those are two franchises you start with. And I never thought I'd be saying that.
Especially about the Wizards. It's such a it's a basketball hotbed, so it's like you really want them to have good basketball in this area. I mean, the only downside with Trey Young is that was the sad part of losing C.J. McCollum. When you have a team full of young guys, you want like responsible leadership, and then that doesn't seem to be what Trey Young is. When he was in Atlanta, he seemed to rub a couple people the wrong way. So I would want like a good, nice vet. That's the only thing about it. But that's not to say he can't be. I don't think he'll have the Russell Westbrook effect on guys. You say what you want about Russell Westbrook. His teammates, sans LeBron, love to play with him. So I mean, it is one of those situations where that's good for them. So I wouldn't rule out Trey Young staying here and maybe making something out of the experience. Whatever they do with it after next year, we'll see. But give him some time. I think they'll put him on the court and maybe it'll actually be good for the young guys they have and actually like make people want to like pay attention to Wizards basketball. It's important.
All right, for our last segment,
It's called Deuce's Take. I'm going to ask you two a question. You'll have a minute apiece to answer. What are your thoughts on the Pro Football Hall of Fame and its procedures?
All right, I'm gonna start and I'm gonna say it quick. And I think I told you, John, before we went on that the Hall of Fame procedure is kind of like picking a pope. You don't know what goes on in that room. You don't. I've heard stories about guys nearly coming to blows, advocating for a player, and and then the counterpoint. Of course, we're talking about the rumors that Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick may not be in this class. We won't know until the weekend. But I'll say it like this. If they don't get in this time, it's not a big deal. Joe Gibbs didn't get in his first year of eligibility. There's a whole bunch of coaches who didn't get in their first year. So people need to stop worrying. And I think the thing that needs to really change is the mindset that great players and great coaches are guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famers. They're guaranteed Hall of Famers, but it doesn't mean first ballot. And in terms of Hall of Fame votes, I look to baseball. Think about this. Mariano Rivera was a unanimous pick. Derek Jeter wasn't. Now, who is responsible for, as much responsible for the Yankees' success, as Derek Jeter? And he felt he wasn't unanimous. Again, you just never know what's going through the voters' minds, especially when you've got some former players that vote in that room on the Hall of Fame.
Dante, what you got?
I mean, the whole process kind of just stinks, generally speaking, just based on how difficult sometimes they make it, because you got to put personal feelings to the side when you are making these decisions. Now, the biggest thing that I will say is I definitely agree with Gary, where it's like we got to stop putting this emphasis on first ballot Hall of Famer. You're still getting in. Yes, being in first ballot, it is a huge accomplishment, but you also have to understand the Football Hall of Fame is one of the hardest ones to get in. Football and baseball are the two hardest Hall of Fames to get, especially baseball. So if you want your league and your Hall of Fame to have the prestige, you kind of just got to stomach it and deal with it sometimes, because otherwise you end up with a situation like the NBA where they say everybody makes the Hall of Fame. Kind of true. And I love basketball, but it's just one of those things where, the process overall, I think it's convoluted, is unnecessarily difficult sometimes for players, and it shouldn't be. There's no reason why Reggie Wayne isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. It is what it is. Torrey Holt, same thing. So those are just guys that I can think on the top of my head. But, yeah, it's just one of the things
LC
where,
Greenwood. LC Greenwood. That's one that still mystifies me.
see, it takes a long time. It's not as easy as it should be, but you live with it because it does help with making your Hall of Fame seem elite and like it's a club that you have to be a part of. That I will.
All right. Gary, come on, take us home, man.
Well, hey, look, in terms of looking ahead to the weekend, it don't get much bigger than the Super Bowl. I hope y'all have your wings and all that other stuff already. John, I know you've got something special planned in terms of cooking or going out to eat or something. But beyond that, let's see, what do we have? The next weekend, we've got the NBA All-Star Game and the Daytona 500. But again, we're only talking about this weekend. We're talking about some college basketball before the Super Bowl. So yeah, there's that, men's and women's. Oh yeah, and the Olympics start. That's another thing. So you know how I am about hockey, Olympic hockey. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to speed skating, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Lindsey Vonn is going to compete with a ruptured ACL skiing. Ruptured. And she says, I'm gonna be out there. So that's why we like watching sports, and that's why we like talking about sports. So come on back and hear us talk about it and break it down and look ahead.
Hey, another great week in sports. Dante, as always, thank you very much for coming by. We greatly appreciate it. Hey, this week, watch that Super Bowl. It's going to be an exciting game. Watch some NBA basketball. Watch some NCAA basketball, men's and women's. We didn't get a chance to talk about that today, but that's starting to heat up. Watch some hockey. And oh, by the way, Gary, LC Greenwood will get in this week into the Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken.
Long
But
overdue.
above,
Long
but
overdue.
above all else, just watch some sports. Take care. See you real soon.